Alright, it appears that we have a few questions still lingering about transforming our functions here. So, best thing to do is run back through it, give you a chance to soak it in at your own pace here. If we have -1, we're pretty clear that that means down 1 for the function, what we're dealing with. And all we meant here with parent function is we're dealing with x squared. So that means whatever you do to it, down 1, we should have that parabola normal shape. Did pretty good with that. You also did a very good job with inside means the opposite, and we use that rule dealing with left and right on the inside. The only difference is when we start doing things like this, 2x plus 4, we're going to take that entire thing and set it equal to 0. When we do that, we're going to use that actual value. So in our first reaction, we know that this we would think goes left. Okay, and it will go left, but it doesn't go left 4, it only goes left 2 based on solving it. Okay, so that takes a little diversion from the basic problem we had. You guys were pretty good with this one. So the two things we have, it does say -1, so that's right 1. The 2 is now going to be a vertical stretch because it's greater than 1 of 2. Okay, that makes it taller. Okay, so we put the first and the second problem together for number 4 here. It is going to be up 3. It is going to go to the left 1. And the -2 has two parts. It's a vertical stretch of 2, just like we had in number 2. The negative itself is negative outside of the entire function, so that means we're going to deal with an x-axis reflection. Okay. Most common will be that x-axis reflection. You can always check that with your graphing calculator because it should open upside down. If you were to check number 3, it doesn't open upside down. It should still open properly, opening up. Okay, we're going to deal with the absolute value. -3 on the outside does mean down 3. We're going to double check the inside by actually solving it. So negative x equals -2, so x equals +2. So it actually goes to the right 2, and it's going to open up. Okay, we have a couple different ways to look at that. This is the only one on this paper that we worked on that has a y-axis reflection. So if your first reaction to this problem was, say, left 2, 1, 2, if it's a y-axis reflection, that actually means we're going to end up right 2. We try and skip out on thinking about it that way by just solving the inside and knowing that this is left and right, and it is now a true value to the direction we're going to go. So when we solve it, we get 2. So that's kind of a quick rundown of what we've done here. The linear function, you guys were a little bit frustrated with this. Keep in mind, if the objective here is to graph it and then talk about the transformations, I know from dealing with many of you in Algebra 1, you can graph this. -2, down 1, 2, 3, and over 1. That's the graph, so don't let that change at all, that you know what's going on. It's a linear function. The -2 transformation, that's down 2. The 3 is a vertical stretch, and the negative is an x-axis reflection. Okay, so many of you wanted to lump these together and tell me the slope is -3. That's correct, but why does it actually have that? The transformation is now what we're talking about in Algebra 2. Okay, working backwards then, if we want to take the absolute value, if we want to move it up 5, that's +5. If we want to go to the right, that's now inside the absolute value. So right means -3 because we're working opposites on the inside. Linear means plain old y equals x. And if we want to stretch or compress it, in this case it's a compression because it's 2/5. That's just multiplied by 2/5. The absolute value, we're going to shift it down to, that's -2, and over the x-axis. x-axis means negative on the outside, and then minus 2. Quadratic is x squared. Stretch it by 8, that means multiply by 8. Okay, quadratic stretched by 5, so that's multiplied by 5. But also what we have is a horizontal shift left, so that's going to be inside your quadratic. So 8, if we want to go left, that is negative, so we're going to use plus squared, and don't forget to stretch it by 5 on top of that. Alright, and which one best represents? As I looked over your papers, you guys did a great job with this. Minus 2, you guys know it means down 2, so this can't be right. That's the wrong way, and it doesn't open upside down, so that would work.